Oh, my legs. Guys, they don't tell you about that when you go to Comic-Con. Oh my god. Finally went to Comic-Con. First time ever. Oh my god. It's fun. I wouldn't recommend going on a Sunday. But also, my legs hurt so much. Which is why I'm glad I'm sitting. I do not want to be standing. Sitting is much more comfortable. Although I have to stand soon, because eventually I have to make lunch. That's besides the point, though. Hi, it's me. I am not a jack-o'-lantern. My name is Lewis. He has merch. We've already established that in the previous video. Anyways, we're talking about Mighty Ducks today. Previously on this channel, we talked about, well, the first time we talked about Mighty Ducks was when Emilio Estevez was announcing he was leaving the show, which we'll get into in this video. But besides that, 2 years ago, if my math is correct, I talked about the cartoon. And obviously I'm on a roll with fixing my videos because I don't like that video. So today we are revisiting the Mighty Ducks animated series. Before we get into Mighty Ducks the animated series, I figure I could give you guys all a quick recap about the series, from the 3 movies to the live action TV show, before we get into the story of the animated show, because the animated show is loosely inspired by the Mighty Ducks films. And the Mighty Ducks cartoon came out in 1996, around the same time as the third Mighty Ducks movie. So without further ado, let's revisit Mighty Ducks. Now, I'm not going to fully recap the first Mighty Ducks movie because it's what you expect from a sports film, a kid-friendly sports film movie. They were pumping these out so much back then. So many. There were like a lot of baseball ones. There was a basketball one, and then there was a hockey one. I don't remember if there was a soccer one, unless you want to count Bender for Beckingham as a. I don't. But anyways, there was a lot of mainly baseball ones. Football. I will get back to you on that one. But Mighty Ducks is up there with the sports movies you want to watch and stuff. What you need to know is that there's a lawyer named Gordon Bombay. And he's not a lawyer, he's an attorney. He's from Minneapolis. And he got pulled over for drunk driving, so he gets sentenced to 500 hours of community service coaching youth hockey. And, eventually he bonds with these kids, and these kids learn that he actually used to be a hockey player. Crazy. And then, yada, 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 power of friendship. They win the hockey championships, and whatever. This movie was directed by the same dude who directed the first Bill and Ted movie, and that's all you need to know about the first movie. Things are a lot different in the second movie because Gordon decides he wants to try out for hockey minor leagues, and he becomes a star player for a fictional NHL team? No, the Miami Hana Waves or whatever, but much like how Keanu Reeves used to be a hockey player, Gordon gets a career-ending knee injury. Fun fact, yes, in case you guys didn't know, Keanu used to be a hockey player, but then he got injured, much like most people who play hockey and get injured, and it changed his career path, but that's besides the point. So instead, Gordon gets offered a chance to coach a team representing the United States at the Junior Goodwill Games, so he reunites most of the Mighty Ducks because 5 of them moved away, so they have to get 5 new dudes to join the game, and yada yada yada. They win the game regardless, even with all the stuff happening in the game. Kenan Thompson was in this movie. This is, I think, before or during when he was on Nickelodeon, he was in Mighty Ducks 2, and I think we can quickly move on to Mighty Ducks 3. So this movie is way more different than the first 2 movies, because instead of focusing on Gordon Bombay, played by the lovely Emilio Estevez, we are now focused on the protege Charlie Conway. After their victory at the Junior Goodwill Games, Charlie and the teammates are awarded scholarships to a fictitious crossing southwestern suburb academy called Eden Hall Academy. It's a lot to take in, but whatever. It's also a Minnesota high school that Gordon attended, so it's pretty cool that they get to get scholarships there or whatever. Their arrival is met with hostility from the varsity team, mainly consisting of players who are members of rich families, so you know how that is, as well as Gordon's handpicked successor, Ted O'Ryan. Don't know who that is, but this dude was in Desperate Housewives, and that's He's also 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, so that's good. But anyways, whose emphasis on defensive two-way hockey irks Charlie, our new main character, because they're not focusing on Gordon anymore. Not wanting to be on a team led by Orion, who he believes to be a washed-up former professional, player. Charlie decides to leave the team, but then he comes back because he learns the truth about Orion from Gordon, and they quickly bond, and yada yada yada. They win the game, and that's all you need to know about all those movies. And of course, we can't get into Mighty Ducks without briefly talking about Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Well, it's called The Mighty Ducks Game Changers, but every single movie is called Mighty Ducks. Just know that. So the synopsis for Mighty Ducks Game Changers is pretty short. The Mighty Ducks junior team is selective about who makes the roster. It's now a hockey powerhouse or whatever. After being cut and told he's wasting time, 12-year-old Evan Morrow, at the urging of his mother, forms a new team of underdogs with the help of Gordon Bombay, who has since become the despotent owner of a low-level ice rink. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. I didn't watch the show. And I can't watch the show because it was removed from Disney Plus last year in May, amidst Disney Plus and Hulu content removal purge as part of a broader cost-cutting initiative under Bob Iger's rule. And also, the series was canceled after 2 seasons in February of last year. I don't blame them for canceling it, and let me explain why. In my humble opinion, Emilio Estevez was really what got me into watching the show. I was like, oh, he's back. And they also brought back some people from the first 3 movies, so this is a good thing. But then when he had to leave, I was like, oh, season 2 is gonna suck. And I wasn't wrong. I will give the show credit, though. Very good job of casting Lorelai Gilmore to be the mother of Evan Morrow. Good stuff. Also, the kid who plays Evan Morrow apparently was in Mutant Mayhem of TMNT, and apparently he was in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Who did he play in either of those movies? Good question. He's Raphael in Mutant Mayhem, and he's the voice of Greg Heffley in sorry guys, I know what, I got confused. He is Greg Heffley in the animated Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. I'm sorry, you can't blame me for messing that up. Also, he was in a really goated TV show called Boardwalk Empire. That's really goated of that dude. And he's currently Raphael, but we can move on now to the animated Mighty Ducks show. So things are a bit different with Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Bear in mind, while it is loosely based on the live-action films, and it's also based off of a team from the NHL called the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, and they're also based off of the Cincinnati Mighty Ducks from the AHL. I didn't know there was an American Hockey League. I just knew about the NHL or whatever. I don't watch sports. In another universe exists a planet populated entirely by humanoid ducks, dubbed Puckworld for its inhabitants. It's an icy planet, perfectly suited to the ducks' favorite pastime, hockey. For the citizens of Puckworld, hockey was not simply a sport, but a way of life, occupying virtually every aspect of day-to-day existence. I'm sorry. I didn't. This is why I have no friends. Legend has it that centuries ago, during an invasion by a reptilian race called Sauritans, a duck named Drake Duquesne became the planet's savior over the Sauron's overlords. The legend tells that Duquesne did so well with a high-tech goalie mask, which gave him the ability to see through the Sauron's cloaking technology, which was a game-changer for him and his people. With it, Duquesne sent the Saurons to a mysterious dimensional limbo. The last of the Saurons escape from the dimensional limbo and returns to Puckworld with an armada of robotic attack ships. The group of 4 is led by the last of the Sauron overlords, Lord Dragonus, who is assisted by his minions Siege, Chameleon, and Wraith. They invade the planet and slay the people of Puckworld, and after some time, a resistance is formed by Kaner Thunderbeak, who has found the mask of Drake Duquesne. With it, the wearer of the mask could see through the Sauron's invisibility cloaks. So Kaner forms a band of ducks to fight Dragonus. The members of his team consist of Wildwing Flashblade, Nosedive Flashblade, Tanya Vanderflock, Duke Lorange, Lawrence, Mallory McLeod, and Grin Hardwing. They go on a mission to destroy Darganis' fortress, the Master Tower, and free the planet from the Saurians' control. While the mission is successful, Darganis and his forces manage to escape in their ship, the Raptor. The Saurians open a dimensional gateway to escape through, but Kaynard and the others follow him into the portal with the Arrowing, intent on stopping them. So anyways, Darganis attempts to get rid of the ducks inside of the portal by attacking them with an electromagnetic worm that will grow until it can swallow the Arrowing. In a desperate attempt to get rid of the worm, Kaynard sacrifices his own life by throwing himself into the worm. Before doing so, however, he gives the mask and leadership of the team to Wildwing Flashblade, his best friend. So sad. So sad. Both of the Raptors and the Arrowing leave the portal and enter a different dimension, landing in the city of Anaheim, California. I feel so bad. The Ducks then meet Phil Farmfeather, a human who becomes their manager and makes them a legitimate NHL team. Alright then. Their arena, only known as The Pond in the show, has a hockey rink that doubles as a landing pad for the Arrowing above and has a formal HQ below. When they had time to make this, I have no idea. This show literally didn't even last that long. Can't say I blame him. But anyways, on Earth, the Ducks and Darganis continue their fight, with Darganis' plans of conquest often curtailed by damage to the Raptor's power source and his efforts to find a new source of power. Although there are other villains that also challenge the Six Ducks. Ooh. On the road to glory! We're getting into the cast because some of these characters were voiced by famous people, like the new leader of the group, Kaynard's best friend, Wildwing Flashblade. He's voiced by Ian Ziering, who I think we talked about before. I said before that he is known for playing Steve Sanders on Beverly Hills 90210. And he's also in other stuff, but that's besides the point. So we have Ian Ziering as Wildwing Flashblade. Next we have Steve McCall as Nosedive Flashblade. Him, I don't know as much, but apparently he's been in some stuff. So we're gonna move on from him. Okay, now Jeff Bennett, very, very famous. We know Jeff Bennett. He has voiced in a lot of stuff. He is Johnny Bravo. He's also Dexter's dad in Dexter's Laboratory, Big Billy and Powerpuff Girls, and a lot of other stuff. And he is Duke LaOrange in this show. Mallory McMallard, the person voicing her has been in mainly video games, like Overwatch and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect and Metal Gear Solid, and also Baldur's Effect and BioShock Infinite. So if you know her, you'll know her if you watch the show. Who else we got? We have Tanya Vanderflock, and her voice actress is also very famous because April Terry Winchell has been the voice of Clarabelle Cow since 1996. So when you listen to Clarabelle Cow, that's her. And then we have Chick Grin Hardwing. Hey, that guy looks familiar. Is that the dude from Everybody Loves Raymond? Is that Raymond's brother? Is he Raymond? Yeah, it's Robert. Okay, so we got some people I know here. That's good. We got more characters to go over. We have allies and we have villains. Kaynard Thunderbeak is the dude who died, protecting everyone. Wildwing thinks though that he might be alive in dimensional limbo, and if they continue the show, they probably would have found him. But the guy voicing Kaynard Thunderbeak was voiced by the guy who used to voice Michelangelo in TMNT. So there's that. Phil Palmfeather, the human who befriends the ducks, is actually voiced by Jim Belushi. That's actually crazy. Rob Paulson's in the show, if you could believe it. He is voicing a character named Borg, who's a prince regent of a different dimensional Anaheim. I don't want to know. Let's move on. Jim Cummings, Winnie the Pooh, cool cats, whatever, Scat, whatever, the cat show that I reviewed. He's the mayor in that show, and in this show he plays a guy named Stanley Starinsky, who is a former hockey player with a violent attitude, and Darganis came to help him for help, and he changed his ways though, and he turned back normal and became a referee. Now, I was trying to avoid this as long as I could, but I can't anymore. Frank Welker's in this show, and I know what you're thinking, Amy. You always lose your mind when you find out Frank Welker's in a show because he's everywhere. I can't avoid talking about a show without finding him somehow. Really think about this. How many cartoons have I reviewed so far where I find out Frank Welker's in it, huh? Count. I dare you. Go look at any of my videos and find a timestamp where I figure out Frank Welker's in a show. Anyways, though, Frank Welker voices two characters in the show, Brawn and Baby. Brawn is a large intergalactic robotic bounty hunter, so of course he's voicing a robot. Frank Welker voiced a robot before, why am I not shocked? And Baby is the name given to a young alien adopted by Nosedive. I'm done, bro. Get to the villains already. So, who voices Lord Dragonus, the bad guy of the show? It's obviously Tim Curry. If you couldn't recognize it, I mean, I don't blame you. Clancy Brown, Mr. Krabs, is in the show too. He voices Siege, and I think he's Lord Dragonus's sidekick or whatever. Frank Welker's a chameleon. Frank Welker's chameleon. Golly, Frank, golly, you can't keep doing this to me, man. It's okay. It's okay. Charlie Adler voices Dr. Droid. He was a human, and now he's a cyborg, and he wants to turn everybody into robots. Charlie Adler is Buster Bunny in Tiny Toons Adventures, and he is Ickis on Real Monsters. We have another Animaniacs voice actor in here. So I said Rob Paulson's in this, but I forgot about Tress MacNeille. You know her. She voices a character named Trina. It's a machine disguised as a typical woman who serves Droid, Dr. Droid. And Jim Cummings voices a villain. He's really good at voicing villains. I've noticed that. And anyone else famous that we know in this show before we move on? I mean, Rob Paulson voices another. David Hyde Pierce was a bad guy in this show? Niles, no. Can you tell I have a crush on Niles from Frasier? I don't watch Frasier. And Frank Welker's another bad guy. I'm done. I'm good. Let's move on now. No turning back. I'd like to end this video with something very interesting. You see, a direct-to-video feature film was made for the show called Mighty Ducks the Movie: The First Face-Off, and it was released on VHS on April 8th of 1997, a year after the show came out, and a year after the Mighty Ducks third movie came out. Also, 1997 is when the series ended, I think, so yeah, literally a year since the show came out. It comprises the 3 episodes of the series, The First Face Off, Parts 1 and 2, and Duck Hard, and they edited it into one movie. The movie is one of numerous produced since 1969, where the director chose to be credited under the Alan Smithy pseudonym, which is the official pseudonym used by film directors who wish to disown a project. Oh, that's bad. If you want to watch the show, it's available on Disney Plus, surprisingly. It's been there since the launch of Disney Plus. And, yeah, it's funny how that's there, but Mighty Ducks Game Changers isn't. Oh. But thanks for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to all the YouTube things. And in the next video, which is going to probably come immediately after this one, we're going to be venturing back into a musical that was so dangerous. Almost killed someone. Literally. And my favorite Bravo YouTuber made a video about it, so I decided I'm going to revisit it. That is Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. We are in for a bumpy ride. Strap in. Got to be the man in the time. Look out, clear the way. The dark side here to play.